Trinamool member of Congress, the TMC member of Parliament, Mahua Moitra, today stormed out of a an ethics committee meeting that was investigating whether she has taken cash or other rewards for asking questions in Parliament. I'm Barkha Dutt, you're with the Mojo story. Mahua Moitra walked in to appear before Parliament's ethics panel carrying her trademark Louis Vuitton bag. Reportedly, she also carried with her in those bags gifts that she is alleged to have received from Darshan Hiranandani, the businessman at whose behest the BJP alleges she received cash or kind to ask questions in Parliament. Moitra has denied these allegations, saying that save a few what she calls innocuous gifts from Mr. Hiranandani, she has had no monetary payment of any kind from Darshan Hiranandani. Mr. Hiranandani, in the meantime, has turned approver in the case and has conceded to an error in judgment. This controversy relates, of course, to Mahua Moitra's questions related to Gautam Adani on the floor of the House. Mahua Moitra was appearing before an ethics panel today that was to investigate the allegation of wrongdoing and parliamentary misconduct. But after 2 hours, Mahua Moitra stormed out. She was accompanied by several opposition members of parliament. Moitra said that she had been asked filthy, sordid, prejudiced, and deeply personal questions that she said amounted to a cheer haran. Let's first play a short clip for you as Moitra walks out of that ethics panel meeting.
Ethics committee asking also the filthy questions. Tears in my eyes. He's making up any rubbish. Tears in your eyes. He's in my eyes and the tears in it. Then what are you talking shit for? Tears in my eyes.
What are you talking shit for? Tears in my eyes, to a reporter who said, "Are you crying? Are your eyes welling up with tears?" She's clearly furious there. Later, one of the opposition members of parliament, BSP MP Danish, who you would remember was at the receiving end of abuse by a BJP member of parliament who was also sent to show cause notice and so on, he confirmed to Mojo story that deeply personal questions, including questions about who Mahua Moitra speaks to at night, which hotels she stays in and so on, were asked, which is when the 5 opposition members of parliament in that ethics panel decided to walk out with her.
So already, why we have boycotted, we have already said it there.
लेकिन आप लोगों ने कहा कि एथिक्स कमेटी में अनएथिकल सवाल किए गए थे. क्या अनएथिकल सवाल थे दानिश जी, ये तो बताइए, क्योंकि बीजेपी का कहना है कि कोई पर्सनल सवाल नहीं किया गया था, केवल दर्शन हिरानंदानी ने जो स्टाफ दिया है जो
वो नहीं, अरे नहीं, किससे रात में किससे बात किया, टेलीफोन पे कितना बात किया, किस होटल में सोए, ये सब वो सवाल होता है क्या एथिक्स कमेटी में? चेयरमैन ये सवाल करता है.
So, as Mahua Moitra and other opposition members of parliament storm out of that ethics panel committee, and the committee itself is now split, as it were, along political lines, what can and what should happen next? Joining us now is our newsmaker today. We're joined by Mr. PDT Achary. He's, of course, been the Secretary General of the Lok Sabha. Thank you very much, sir, for your time. I'm sure you've been following all the dramatic developments. Now, Mahua Moitra came in to meet the ethics panel, and the meeting did not end well. We saw her storming out. She accused the ethics committee chair of reading from a prepared script. She said the questions were filthy. The opposition MPs backed her. The panel has obviously been split along political lines. What is your reading of the developments today, sir?
Actually, this is something which has not happened in the past. So from that point of view, it's very unprecedented. People walking out of the committee in protest because of the questions that have been put and so on. Now, after this, they have to, I think they may meet the speaker, because after all, the speaker is the ultimate authority so far as these committees are concerned. Speaker gives them directions, and speaker, tells them how to do things and all that in case there is a problem. So ultimately, it is the speaker who will decide what should be done and how things should be managed. So they may meet the speaker and tell the speaker that what has happened in the committee, and if objectionable questions have been asked, because all these things have been recorded. Therefore, everything is there in black and white. So they can show it to the
Yes.
speaker. They can show it to the speaker and say that these are things which have been said in the committee. These are the questions which have been asked and all that kind of thing. And after that, it should be left to the speaker, his decision, because his decision on these matters is always final as per the rules.
But Mr. Achary, you would have seen the video clip. Ms. Moitra says that filthy questions were asked. Other committee members have said she was asked questions like who she was talking to late at night, which hotel she used to stay in. There is an insinuation that very personal questions, very questions that challenged her personal morality were asked. Given the context of the larger issue, which is a cash for query allegation, how do you see this? The larger debate now in the light of what she's saying today?
Well, the questions which are asked normally have relevance to the issue before the committee. Should be relevant, strictly relevant. And you can't ask questions which are totally outside the purview of the question of the issue. But that is a matter which should be decided by the speaker. But naturally, they will maybe, if they meet the speaker, then they may be bringing all these things before to the notice of the speaker.
So, according to you, the final word now lies with the Lok Sabha Speaker.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Sir, what are the possible options now in terms of what could happen next? Because Ms. Moitra has also taken a legal recourse of defamation in the court. So that's running in parallel to all of this. There is an allegation that the BJP is making that scores of questions have been asked on the insistence of a rival corporate businessman. Since then, you have Mr. Hirandandani turning approver in the case and acknowledging on record that indeed she used his help for framing of several questions. She herself has not denied that her login password was shared, but she says this is fairly routine. All members of parliament do it. How do you see this response from her and the revelations since then, including Darshan Hirandani turning approver and acknowledging that he has helped her occasionally, or we don't know specifically how many times, with the framing of questions? She says it was using a stenographer, almost like using a stenographer in his office for clerical help.
A member of parliament can engage anyone in a work in parliament. Anyone can be engaged to help the member of parliament, particularly for framing questions and so on. And the member of parliament is also free to get information from any source, and that is something which is personal to the member, and nobody has any right to pry into that and ask the member, where did you get this information from, and so on. It is entirely for the member to use any kind of source for information. After all, members of parliament, are getting information from various sources for framing questions. And
but the furor is over sharing the password and the login that is now the BJP says has been accessed from Dubai.
Yes, I'm coming to that. Actually, in the beginning, the main issue was that she was writing questions and getting money from someone. That was the question. That means cash for query. That was the main allegation. And so far as that allegation is concerned, I said then it is not this ethics committee which will go into this, because getting money or taking money from someone for putting questions or doing other parliamentary work, is a case of corruption, bribery, and which is a serious case of breach of privilege of the House. So in that case, it is actually the privileges committee which has to look into it. So far as that allegation is concerned. But now it's the question of sharing the login details and password and all that with somebody else. Now, so far as that issue is concerned, I must make it very clear that the Lok Sabha rules are silent. Whether the member can share it with somebody or not, that area is not actually covered by rules. That means they have not made rules. Earlier, the practice was for the member to sign on a printed form where the question will be written, and the member has to sign it. That means it is his question, it's nobody else's. So, and then it will be submitted there, and then the question will be processed and all that, because they look at the signature and see that it is the member's signature, they verify it and they find it okay, and then they go ahead and process the questions. That used to be the practice earlier. But after this online submission, etc., has started, then naturally some rule should have been put in place to regulate this kind of a
So is it a gray area? Is it a gray area?
Gray area. Now the question is, members of parliament normally engage another person to do this parliamentary work. Most of the members, they can't be sitting down and writing questions. They have no time, in fact. This is the practical necessity, in fact. Members engage other people. But here in this particular, I'm not making any comment on this particular case where she has engaged a businessman or things like that. But the point is, a member of parliament can engage anybody, whether it is a businessman or whether it is an ordinary person or anyone. That is it. That is, something which
but with the difference that here the businessman is seen to be a rival to the other business leader about whom she was raising questions. So ethically speaking, even if the Lok Sabha rules are silent, the allegation is that there's a conflict of interest. Do you believe that prima facie there is a conflict of interest?
Well, the question is examined by the Lok Sabha Secretariat in terms of the rules which are laid down in the rule book. That is, so there, the most important requirement of a question is whether it deals with a public issue, because a member of parliament is supposed to promote public interest, matters of public interest, not a private interest. So the question is whether this question contains public interest, matter of public interest. That is the first test.
In terms of the allegation that it was called cash for query, Ms. Moitra has denied receiving any cash. She has conceded that as a friend, Mr. Hiranandani did give her gifts, and she seemed to walk into parliament today carrying some of those gifts to show before the committee. What is the ambit of the ethics committee, or do you believe after the walking out, the ethics committee is now redundant in this matter?
The ethics committee was set up actually to look into the for example, the moral vagaries of the members, little unethical conduct. For example, one member had taken his mistress on a tour, on an official tour, personating her as his wife. And so a complaint was made. Then the committee, this ethics committee, went into it and found him guilty. And then he was given some punishment. He was suspended for some days and all that kind of thing. So what I mean to say is that the ethics committee's remit is this, and they deal with such issues. Now, if it is a question or if it's a case of breach of privilege, then the ethics committee cannot deal with that. So that will have to be dealt with the privileges committee, because privilege is something which is there in which is provided for in the constitution, which is a right which has been given by the constitution.
So in many ways, you're saying that the ambit of this issue, this is outside the ambit of the ethics committee.
No, ethics committee has to take a view on this issue. I'm not making any judgment. I'm not.
Right.
I can't say what the committee will do. The committee has to take a position on this. What I am saying, all that I'm saying is that so far as engaging another person for doing parliamentary work is concerned, the Lok Sabha rules which deal with questions and all that are silent on this. So when the rule is silent,
Let me ask you finally. You said the matter will now have to be determined by the Lok Sabha Speaker. What will the Lok Sabha Speaker have to decide at this point, given the breakdown within the committee?
Well, I can't. Of course, I can't say what the Speaker is going to do, but I can say that the Speaker, since the Speaker has the responsibility to see that all the committees function as per the rules, then Speaker can give suitable directions to the chairman to conduct the meetings according to the rules and conventions and all that.
All right. I think this is only the beginning. We don't know this issue could also go to other committees. Isn't that correct, sir? The Speaker could choose to send this to the Privileges Committee even now?
No. See, someone has to move a privilege motion.
Right. But I'm saying that could happen. Yes, but I'm saying that could happen.
That can happen. That can happen.
Right.
Then it can go to the Privileges Committee. There's no problem.
All right, Mr. Achary, thank you for so calmly explaining such a politically volatile hot potato story to us. Thank you and take care, sir.
Okay, thank you.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.